Jai Sadgurudeo and a very good morning to all of you. My name is Ravi Shankar and I have joined this satsang from Austin, Texas. Welcome to weekly English satsang organized by North America Institute of Vihangam Yoga. I am sure everyone here would agree that in the present age, our daily lives completely revolve around just fulfilling our physical, mental, and family and social responsibilities. In this fast-paced routine life, the requirement of soul are often neglected. So first, I would like to congratulate each one of us for taking some time from our busy schedule to fulfill the requirement of our soul through this satsang. Now we transition to the next phase of satsang. So today's satsang's topic is, as we are going to discuss on some of the thought-provoking topic, that is self-surrender by Niranjan ji from Atlanta. This will be an interactive session that will help us to deepen our understanding and confidence in sharing the profound teaching of Vihangam Yoga. Let us come together with open heart and minds and learn and grow and inspire each other. Guiding us on this journey today is with Niranjan ji from Atlanta, is a sincere disciple of Sadgurudeo who inspires us with his seva bhav, devotion, and deep knowledge. His dedication to selfless service and unwavering faith make him a guiding light for many on the spiritual path. We are truly fortunate to have him and share his insight and wisdom with us today. Let us all feel grateful for this opportunity to engage in any such deep and transformative discussion. I now invite Niranjan ji to take the session forward. Over to you, Niranjan ji.
Jai Sadgurudeo. Good morning. Hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, yes.
Thank you for confirming. Before I start this beautiful topic, self-surrender, or you can say the highest form of surrender through Vihangam Yoga, I would like to offer my prayer, the lotus feet of Lord Sadgurudeo, some couplets from a Sarved. बार बार बंदन करूं सद्गुरुदेव हमार, यहाँ वहाँ सब ठाम में महिमाय परम्पार। सरल सरल मैं सरल हूँ, हे गुरु बंदी छोर, मोहि उबारो हे गुरु, यह सौ बार निहोर। जन अधीन बंदन करे, केहि विधि की जैसेव, वार पार की गम नहीं, नमो नमो गुरुदेव। यह मन चंचल चोर है, यह मन झूठ ठगहार, मन मन करी सुर मुनि गए, मन के लक्ष्य दुआर। बाजीगर का बांदरा, ऐसे जीव मन साथ, माना नाना नाच नचाय के, राखे अपने हाथ। मन सायर मन सा लहरी, बूढ़े बहुत अचेत, कहे कबीर ते बाची हैं, जाके हृदय सचेत। मन स्वार्थी आप रस, विषय लहर फहराए, मन के चलाए तन चले, जाते सरबस जाए। The mind is constantly chattering and wavering. It is constantly working and processing information from the external and internal worlds. The wandering mind scatters the energies of the soul. Swamiji said in Surveda, चक्षु के चेतन करण को. He is very clearly indicating चक्षु के चेतन करण, the conscious energy that's flowing from your eyes. Mind takes it, those scattered energy of the soul, and take you into the different subjects. Due to this scattered energy, the soul feels powerless and hence devoid of peace. Thus, souls with a wandering mind experience a lot of suffering. The mind is constantly distracted by the senses, and hence it is very difficult to silence it. But Swamiji very clearly said also, चक्षु के चेतन करण को एक में देहु मिलाए, ऊर्ध्व गति को चढ़ सको अन्य न कोई उपाय. The moment when he says ekame dehu milaye, that's the stage one meditation when we say we have to focus ourselves at the tip of our nose. What does it mean? To collect all scattered energy of the soul at one point to make it so powerful that the mind or a man cannot take it to the different subjects. And slowly, slowly your mind becomes weakens in the sense of it's under your control. It will not take your energy further to the subjects unless you wish to do so. Currently, where we are, it's not our wish, it's the wish of the mind. We go into the different subjects unwillingly. So, Swamiji is saying, मन माया मरती नहीं, नहीं वासना नाश, यह शरीर मरी मरी गया, कर माया नाश. Which implies that the mind and Maya do not die, neither do they vanish. It's the only when the body itself perishes, the mind is destroyed. People think that sitting forcibly in one place, in one position for a long period of time may help in silencing the mind. Though this might be true to a certain extent, it is far more easier said than done. By merely retreating into the caves of the Himalayas or any mountains and sitting there with eyes closed, one cannot silence the mind. It is only through intense meditation when the practitioner is able to see a vision of the ninth lotus, that's also called Nauma Kamal, and is able to experience the pure light. The mind receives the pure light and becomes silent. This is described in Sadguru in Sorbet by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj also, and he says, "नौवां कमल अनूप है, दल अनंत तेहि जान, ज्ञान गम्य अनुभव करें दिव्य दृष्टि विज्ञान." What does it mean? We have heard many times in our satsang, our minds get dissolved at the Nava Kamal, ninth lotus. So there is no other way to silence the wandering mind. Before that, it's always in the position of wandering. Unless it reaches to its own home from where it has actually generated, it is not going to be a quiet. So, and what does it mean by so there is no other way to silence this wandering mind and experience everlasting peace except through the spiritual knowledge of Brahma Vidya and intense meditation practice of Vihangam Yoga. As long as the mind continues to be connected to the senses, it cannot become silent. As long as the soul is connected to the mind, it cannot experience peace or union with the Almighty, and hence life does not progress spiritually. The mind has an aura of its own. The power of the soul cannot be enhanced as long as it does not receive its conscious light. The surati, which remains blocked by the active and thinking mind, it is only through the practice of Sadguru's Vihangam Yoga that the ego of the mind dissolves and the mind becomes pure and subtle and then becomes aligned to the consciousness with whom? To the soul, consciousness with the soul of the Sahaj Yoga and continues to the function in an alive state well in his control. That's called controlling. The pure and subtle mind has the capacity to establish the greatest task of the world. The Sahaj Yogi sits on the world stage and spreads the light of his soul through his purified and subtle mind into the world. This light has the power to vibrate and reach out to the entire world. Thus, the initiation of Vihangam Yoga is the first stage of the natural yogi who practices Sahaj Yoga. Concentration and focusing the mind is possible through the different types of yoga that function within the realm of nature, of Prakriti. However, dissolving the mind completely till it becomes one with the soul is only possible through Vihangam Yoga. Only when the mind is dissolved completely and is in the zone of pure consciousness as its origin can the self be realized. It is at this stage that the soul is able to completely become aware of its existence, separate from the body, and experience union with the cosmic light. This is the art and inculcation of Vihangam Yoga and the real power of the mind. This experience is described by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj in the Saurabhed, where he says, उत्तम सहजावृत्ति है शब्द निरंतर लाग महल सूक्ष्म भी ना रहे Surati Sohagin Jag. Now, once this all happens, that comes how to surrender then ourselves. The state of self surrender is when the soul, through its own powers and with the blessings of the Sadguru, surrender itself to the Supreme or God. Surrender cannot happen through the mind. That's the reason mind has to be dissolved, has to be under your control, so that the soul at its own level can start surrendering. Senses or the elements of nature, this is described also in the Swarved, Atma Samarpan Prabhu Kare, Apa Apa Mitaye. एक आस भगवान की और न मन कुछ आए. Atma the self surrender happens at the level of soul itself. But before that, it's in it's in with mind wandering and feels powerless because the power of the soul is scattered right now for maximum of the people, and that is taken care by our mind. What does mean by taken care? They are taking all the energies, though it is scattered energy, the soul of the energy of the soul, and taking into the different subjects. So unless or till this is all happening, you cannot self surrender. There is no question of surrender. One more couplet from Sarved says, आप पूर्ण विश्वास है, नाम करे सो होए, पर पुरुषार्थ करत है, प्रभु प्रकाश उर सोए. The body is made up of five elements of nature which are inert, that we all know. They are activated by the mind. The mind draws the energy of the soul and dissipates it through the sense organs and gets tasks done in the world. That's the general process we all do. There are a total of 10 external and 4 internal senses of the soul. The 4 internal senses are the mind, intellect, the memory track, and the ego. The soul itself is separate from its 10 external senses, which includes 5 karma senses, and 5 gyan senses, along with the 4 internal senses. It is through the senses that the soul experiences sorrow or happiness whilst performing the various worldly tasks. Within the 10 senses are the 10 different vital energies, which is prana, that run the body, the imbalances of which would cause diseases and ailments of the body. So there are also the three nadis that we know that are the main energy centers of the body. That are what are those? Those nadis are Ingla, Pingla, and Susmana. Monitors the functioning of all physical organs of the body, like the heart, lungs, etc. Susmana is the inner nadi which is activated through the practice of yoga. The soul is a conscious entity, while the nature and its functions are inert. The soul functions through these inert forces of nature and uses the inert substances, and when it is free from the influence of nature and all inert substances, it is able to become stabilized and established in its own true form, a pure and conscious sentient being of energy. Whatever stages of the mind, senses, and pran the soul experiences through meditation are all within the realms of this nature, of Prakriti. However, it is only when the soul is seated in its true form, in the state of self realization, where it is completely free from the bondages of nature. Is it able to surrender itself to the Supreme God? Sometimes it's not possible. Many times it's not possible. And we know, like, first stage and second stage of meditation. What happens in the third stage of Vihangam Yoga meditation when the Kundalini awakens? The conscious light of the soul reaches the soul, and the way for self realization is paved. The mind with the prana dissolves completely, and the unbibed infinite field of cosmic energy, which is the place of void and wholeness, an ocean of all virtues and the origin of all creation, reaches the soul. The soul, without any attachment with nature, receives conscious rays from the infinite source of Akshar Brahma, where the soul realizes the itself, who am I? This is described also in the Surabhed. Swamiji says, Kundalini ke talat mein शेष कंप भू आए धरण धसी नीचे चली मेरु कंप ठहराए मेरु कंप के होते ही सागर शब्द अपार दसों दिशा मोती झरे हीरा ताल समार शक्ति महामंदिर लगे होवे ऊर्ध्व खिंचाओ झूले हिंडोला प्रेम का अमृत गंगा नहाओ. The soul, having completely realized itself, imbibes all attributes of the Supreme Paramatma and merges with the ultimate. This is the actual state of Samadhi, which is the real union of the soul with the Almighty and the doorway to everything peace or everlasting peace and happiness. It is not possible for a yogi to reach this stage without the blessings of the Sadguru. Thus, it is only through the blessings of Sadguru, when the soul is free from the influence of the mind, it is able to surrender itself to the Almighty. Unless we realize ourself and the Supreme Entity with the unfolding method of our consciousness, Brahmvidya, we will not be able to surrender. Sri Sadhu Sadafal Devji Maharaj is the source of the knowledge of Brahmvidya for all eras, and hence, without his blessings, it is impossible to attain the state of self surrender. Only the yogi who is truly liberated from the bondages of nature and in a state of Jivanamukti can surrender himself. The soul is conscious and an embodiment of eternal knowledge. The Parabrahma, or the one who is beyond or beyond in the source of this eternal knowledge. Excuse me. the Parbrahm, or the one who is beyond in the source of eternal knowledge through the soul is an embodiment of knowledge. Its power decreases due to its tendency to what we can say uh, cling to the material objects and its material desires. It is only through the practice of meditation that the soul is able to break this free from the bondages of nature and become pure. It is uh, then that the power of knowledge is experienced by the soul. The mind is um, naturally influenced. That's the tendency of the mind. The mind is naturally influenced by the material world and desires, or uh, you can say the vices of Maya. Hence, in order to be free from vices and desires of Maya, we will need to be free from the influence of the mind. Mind comes with us when we took birth or when we take birth to get the knowledge of the entire world, right? The mind helps on doing that. But the problem is, once we are under the influence of mind, we become weak. We don't know who we are. We forget, and we are getting into the trap of this nature. We are getting of the trap of this material world, which does not belongs to us. And that's the reason why we do this practice, to detach ourselves from the bondages of this Maya, mind, whatever you call it, and take this mind back to the place from where it originates. That's this all exercise we do, the stage level of 1, 2, and 3. At the level of fourth, we realize, right, who we are, because that's the stage where we leave our mind. We detach ourselves from the mind. Mind reaches to the origin from where it originates after the mind becomes pure, because mind itself also cannot reach to the zone from where it originates unless it's your pure form. When mind is with prakriti and all the mayas, it's in pure form, and that's the reason why we do these exercises, practices of Brahmvidya Vihangam Yoga level 1, 2, and 3, to first control outside, inside, and then purify it, and later take it to the zone of where it has originates. Hence, what we can say, the great yogis and the experts of Brahmvidya preach that the mind should be dissolved in order to attain self realization. And once you are self realized who we are, then the process it starts of self surrendering. Before that, it's not possible at all. Even you don't know who you are, then how will you surrender? Where will you surrender? To whom will you surrender? What is the process of surrendering that? That's not possible unless you are living with the mind, this impure mind or pure mind in any form. It is not possible to control of the mind through forced willpower. It's not possible. If you think like, no, I have a very strong willpower and I can control my mind, it's not possible. If you try to force the mind, its desires and vices will accelerate it further. diminishing the power of the soul. Why it happens? Because you are doing it forcefully. But the mind has that desire. To fulfill that desire, it will take more and more energy, the conscious energy of the soul. And soul becomes more powerless. It will feel like I am nothing. So in the Vihangam Yoga, nothing happens forcefully. Everything under the guidance of Lord Sadgurudeo, and very simple process. It has a very simple process that controls your mind, purifies your mind, and finally surrender also happens when your soul realizes who am I. So so this yoga can only be known through the blessings of Sadguru. The practice that we do only can happen under the shade of Sadguru, because only the Sadguru shares the secrets of this ancient science of yoga. It is only through the soul, which is Atma, that self surrender is achieved, and not through any element of nature. Hence, it is the need of the hour that we should, through the blessings and eternal light of the Sadguru, know the art of Vihangam Yoga and surrender ourselves to the Almighty. And without surrendering, is nothing is possible. That's why self surrender is required. Before self surrender, controlling of mind is required. After controlling of mind, purification of mind is required. Once mind is purified, putting back to the zone where its originate is also required, because the detachment of soul and mind is required for the soul to know who am I. And once soul knows who am I, then it starts surrendering itself, because the actual bhakti starts from or at the zone of a soul itself. Once it realizes who am I and from where I came from, that's that's the time when the soul it starts surrendering and doing all the bhaktis to reach back to the place and the zone where from where it came from, and that is the zone of the Lord, that is the zone of the Almighty. Before that, there is no bhakti. Whatever we perform, it's all act or the karma. That's why first stage, controlling of mind, outside, inside, then purifies, leave it to the zone from where it originates, and then do the self-surrender. This is all the purpose of today's topic, a self-surrender. What does mean? Thank you. Jai Sadgurudeo. Over to you, Raviji.
Yeah, thank you so much, Niranjan ji. Uh, if anybody has any questions or any doubt understanding to this topic, please feel free to ask questions.
Good morning, everyone. This is Ajay.
Yeah, Jay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Niranjanji. Great topic and great explanation. Um, thanks for explaining this subject. I have a question, and this is at a very low level. What you have explained is a very high level. Uh, I know it takes a lot of time to reach that stage. Um, but here is my question. This is something my understanding I want to clarify. So the mind is connected to all indriyas or senses. It's bringing the subject back to soul, and then the soul is kind of soul is rejecting or accepting the subject. Um, and is that what is happening? Like how are we feeling this? Because the goal is, soul's goal is to reach the permanent happiness. The mind is distracting the soul in this Maya world and giving the temporary happiness uh, with bringing these material subjects. And I am in one of the satsang, I heard the transaction when the mind brings the subject back to the soul, that's when we feel, we get a test of the soul's energy, we feel a little bit happy, and then the soul rejects the subject saying, no, this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a permanent happiness. And then the mind again goes back to a search and brings a different subject. Is that what is going on? Like, can you please shed some light on that from a Vihangam Yoga's perspective? Like, how does that work? And the second question I have, a follow up to that, is, um, in other satsangs, I keep hearing that this mind is constantly chattering. So busy this mind in Nam, uh, so that the mind doesn't, you know, bring the subjects. Like the mind is continuously occupied with Nam, so that eventually mind surrenders to the Nam, and then we feel the bliss. These are two different questions. I would like to know your perspective from a Vihangam Yoga's perspective. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ajayji. Nice questions. Mostly these questions comes. That's the reason we keep saying first understand the nature of the mind. Why this mind is with this soul? What is the necessity? Why it came? From where it came? As I mentioned, like it comes from the zone of Nava Kamal, which is also called Akshar Brahma. Mind originates and is attached with the soul. Why? Because if soul is coming on this land, this earth, in the new form of the body, it requires to sense something. To sense something outside of nature and within the nature also, it requires mind to be present. So mind acts that, but eventually what happens, like, and we all know, right, the conscious energy of the soul that is flowing through your eyes is always happening. It's not one time like it happens. It's always happening. And it's in the scattered form. Like it's in the weak form, very weak form. And mind traps it easily. Mind cannot perform any activity unless it has its power. But mind does not have its own power. It's just like you can say a sports car. You have a sports car, right? It's a nice sports car, and that can run maybe 300 miles per hour. But what if we don't put the fuel in that car? Will that car run? Even though it has a capacity, very powerful to run it, it cannot. The energy of the soul is that fuel, and without that fuel, mind itself is nothing. It cannot do anything. It cannot take you to any of the subjects. It cannot perform any act, nothing. So it's trapping the energy of the soul, that is also called surati. In Survey, this mentioned, and even in our ancient Vedas also, it's meant the same word surati. It means the conscious energy of the soul. That mind takes and goes into the different subjects. Now, once it goes into the different subjects, and that goes back to the soul, and soul realizes what is this one, right, and what is that one, what color is this and what color is that, what is happening, what is good and what is bad. Everything whatever you said is absolutely right. It accepts or rejects. But eventually what happens, the mind slowly becomes more powerful because it's taking energy continuously, whereas your soul losing its energy continuously, and it's being in the trap of the mind. Now mind is the ruler of your soul. Wherever mind takes you, you have to go forcefully, either you wish or not, doesn't make any sense or any difference. You have to go because mind is taking you. So what we do it, we slowly doing the stage level 1 practice to bring back those all energy, the conscious energy, the surati, into one place, making so powerful and strong that mind cannot take it further away and go into the different subjects, worldly pleasurely subjects. Thus we do in the stage level 1 practice. And once it becomes strong, I'm not saying that mind is getting weakened. Mind is still same powerful, but it's not getting that conscious energy without willingness of your soul. That is called controlling of the mind. Now mind is in your control. When you wish, and the mind is taking your conscious energy to do and perform any act. Now, currently what we are doing, without my willingness, I am also performing some act, getting distract here and there, everywhere. In a fraction of second, I go here and there because mind is so powerful. In a fraction of second, it goes one place to another place. Yes, speed is so powerful that you cannot imagine even how powerful it is. So, what we have to do is we have to control this powerful mind to do some good act in this nature. And slowly what happens, this is the mind when it's in the pure form takes you also to the zone from prakriti to the next level, to the level of consciousness. That is why this mind is required also at that time also. I'm not saying like controlling of mind is just detach it, control it, detach it. No, detachment happens only when it is reaching to the level of uh, from where it's appeared, and that is called Akshar Brahma. So what we are doing, we are controlling the mind outside because 80 to 85% of our mind resides in front of our eyes. The modern sciences also proves that. You will find many literature and everything on that. So that's the reason. First stage, control your mind outside because your 80 to 85% of mind resides in front of your eyes. Whatever you see, your mind is going everywhere. Once it is controlled, that what we are doing, we are controlling the mind inside also. And then the third, we are purifying the mind. Why we need a purifying? What is impurity on that mind? Purification means it's it's on its original form. When soul came, the mind also came to perform the act in the nature. But it gets trapped with different subjects and everything that still remains with the mind. So that's the reason purification is required, uh, where uh, the mind gets purified and it's only in the form, pure form. Without the pure form of the mind cannot go further to the Akshara Brahm. It cannot go there. And unless it goes there, your soul will not detach with the mind. And unless it does not detach, your soul will never get his energy back and it will never understand who am I. It will never realize who am I. And unless it realizes who am I, it cannot surrender. So the work of mind is to give you all the knowledge of the subjects which is outside. That's the nature of the mind. That's what it does. It's not the problem of the mind. But we are into the trap of the mind is the problem. We should know how to detach it. And that is not possible forcefully. We cannot do it forcefully. It has a proper technique. Nothing works in the adhyatma or spiritualism. Nothing is forcefully. Just by and another one was like in some of the satsang and it is said like okay, you take the naam and you will be Fine. So that is called distraction of the mind, not the controlling of the mind. Distraction for some time is works. I don't say it's not working, but it distracted for a fraction or maybe minute or maybe 2 minutes or 5 minutes of the time that what you are performing, but it will back again with the same powerful energy and going into the different subjects. What Vihangam Yoga says, to control it completely, that it does not go unless you wish, your soul wish. Even though the mind is still same powerful, but without the fuel. And that fuel is the soul conscious energy, which is Surati. So the entire yoga or yoga, whatever is happening in the world nowadays in the name of a spirituality, is all happening in the level of nature, within the neighbor of Prakriti. But the mind has to go beyond the Prakriti in its your pure form. How will it happen? That's where the Vihangam Yoga comes. It's teach you how to control the mind outside, inside, and purified it. And in the pure form, it goes with you. Goes with you means it goes with the soul at the zone of Nawa Kamal, ninth lotus, and Akshar Brahm, you can say. And it get dissolved. It get silenced there. It does not act at all. And that is called a detachment of the soul with mind. But when during the practices and after the practices, once your practice is over, that mind in the pure form again comes with the soul back to the body, and your everyday works continues in the pure form of the mind. That's how the yogis are. They all are living in this nature with the pure form. Unless they wish, their mind does not go here and there. The high level of work, everything that is performing for the kindness of the human being is by the yogis is because they have their pure mind. The mind is powerful, and mind is the only thing that can act in this nature. Hope I can answer. I have answered your question. Uh, if anything further, probably someone else can also add it.
Thank you, Niranjanji. So just a follow up on that. Thank you, great explanation. Um, so let's say like I see a gulab jamun, right, and my mind wants to test it, or the soul wants to test it. So we test it for the first time. We feel some happiness. We test it the next time, the happiness goes down. Third time, the happiness further goes down. Fourth, fifth time, we don't want that gulab jamun anymore. But the first time, we want the gulab jamun. So, what is it? Like, why the first time there is happiness, and as we continue to consume the subject, the happiness keeps going down? What's the science between soul and mind here? Is there a science? Thank you.
Um, yeah, Ajaji, what is soul is looking for? It's always happiness.
Happiness. Yes.
It's always happiness, nothing else. So unless it realizes itself, who am I, is it is still trying to find the happiness everywhere, either because right now it's our soul is into the control of mind right now. So it's trying to find the happiness in every bit and bit of bite of life of everything whatever they found in the nature. So either it is rasgulla or gulab jamun or whatever, is of course it's a temporary, but it's a happiness of the temporary happiness. That's the reason why your soul gets happiness, a temporary happiness, but it get detached again and quickly, because then it realizes, no, it's not the actual happiness that's what I'm looking for. Of course it was happiness, but it's a temporary. I reject it, I need something else. And then it goes into the different other subjects to find the happiness. It happens with everyone. Let's say if I have a one bedroom home or apartment, you always like to have a two bedrooms or three bedrooms or four bedrooms. Once you wished your one bedroom house, You are happy for certain period of time, then why you wish for the others? It's because you are not happy with the first one, you're not happy with the second one, third one, because these are not all temporary happiness. No matter how big house you have, a farm you have, you will still slip into 5 into 7. Those all were built to find the happiness. We taste anything anew always, right? Okay, I haven't tasted gulab jamun. Let's taste it. After one, two, three, four, five, six, once your stomach is full, you will start stopping it or liking it. But the next moment where your stomach is again empty, you may eat some more. Or maybe you say, no, I ate a lot, I can try something else. How is the taste of that one? Maybe I'm looking for that one. That is what my happiness is. And this is how it happens with all sweets that you try. But at the end, I tested everything, but it looks like I need something else. What is else that? That's continuous finding and looking for the happiness which we are trying within this nature is not the real happiness, and your soul is never get satisfied, right? And it keeps searching for the happiness, and this is where we are in the trap, and we never get happiness because the real happiness is somewhere else, where the mind has to detach, soul has to realize who am I, where to go to find the actual happiness. Actual happiness is from where we came actually, and now we are lost. We are in the trap of the mind. Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you, Niranjan. Thank you very much.
So, Hasmukh, we had talked about Antakaran before, and this is a good topic about mind. But Antakaran also has a mind, Ahankar, and intellect. Ahankar is the main uh, reason why we go down towards Prakriti, and it creates the desire, whether it is any kind of desire, gulab jamun or anything. Desire is the main thing that draws us and towards the Prakriti versus going towards the Paramatma. And that desire is what caught by Ahankar, which is closely related, three of them together, Manas, Ahankar, and Buddhi. It works together as a unit. And Ahankar is what we have to really work on, which is the ego. It can go anywhere, but usually it goes down toward the Prakriti. And these are all good discussions. However, the topic today was self surrender. And I think unless we get this surrender aspect in our personality or our being, all the rest, whatever we do, we go back and forth, just like you mentioned. It constantly going nowhere. Surrender true until the true surrender. And surrender, who does the surrender? It's the your own soul is surrendering. The soul which wants to go to the Prakriti, now it says, I want to go to Paramatma. And when we become cognizant about that, seems to be some peaceful and joy that we can understand and experience. That's just my take on it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Smokji, absolutely. That's what it happens. Absolutely, you are absolutely right. Over to you, Rabiji.
Yeah, thank you so much for this wonderful discussions. I would like to express heartfelt thanks for all the participants who actively engaged in this session. And, we all learned a lot from today's topic. So now we have reached to the last phase of this satsang. Uh, I would request, you know, um, everybody to be on their seat. In Santipat, we chant for peace for everyone in this universe and request Sadgurudeo to bless the entire cosmos with peace, love, and prosperity. Santipat. हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांतिमय शांति, शांति 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 जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांतिमय शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांति में, शांति शांति सुख शांति। So I would like to thank all of you for joining this today's satsang. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Sulbhaji, Niranjanji for their seva and active engagement in this session, and for the team behind this for organizing and coordinating this satsang. I pray to Sadguru Dev for peaceful and spiritual week ahead for all of us. See you next Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the same Zoom session. Have a wonderful day, week ahead. Jai Sadguru Dev.